Hi everyone, hi. My name is Chris and I work for Tier 5. Well, the reason why I'm making this video is basically just to let you know why is this language that we universally know as English is so important for us to speak in or communicate with each other. Why is English so important, such an important language? Well, the reason is I'm sure you all may be aware that English is one of the most dominating language of the world, which is having its own impact on every field of work. Undoubtedly, English play a much greater role in the world that it is inevitable for people to ignore it completely. There are some reason, that why English is such an important language. And if I go to tell you the reason, firstly, if you go to see, it's the most commonly spoken language in the world. Wherever you go, you would get people speaking in this language. Now, depending a bit on how you count, in addition to the approximately 4 million or more than that native speakers, English is understood and it is also spoken by maybe 1 point some million or billion people, with over a quarter of the world speaking the language. There is always someone to practice with, especially when you travel. When you travel, maybe the person sitting next to you might not know your local language or your native language. However, there are chances that they would know English. Now, it's the language of international business, with the world business headquarters predominantly in the financial hubs of the UK and USA. English has been long the default language of trade, as you can read in the history of English language. It is important in the global market, therefore cannot be understated. Learning English really can change your life. Most of the movies are made in English. If you even go to see the Bollywood movies, most of them are copied from the English movies. Now, it's not that difficult, when I'm talking, it's not that difficult to speak English. It's easy to learn if you have the determination to learn English. Well, if you ask me, yes, this is debatable depending on who you speak to, but it's generally accepted that English isn't the most taxing language to get the grips with. The vocabulary is simple to grasp and it has developed throughout different languages regarding its evolution that is explained in many articles. If you go to see, especially if you check the history of English, it would be explained out there. Therefore, many speakers of those language can see where concept in English originated from and fast adapt to understand the basic of English. It also helps you to understand other languages. English has a long and fascinating history that spans wars, invasion, and influences from around the globe, cultures that have helped shape modern English. English include Romans, Vikings, and the French. For this reason, it's a hybrid language comprised of Latin, Germanic, and Romance elements. You can say things in 100 different ways. One of English's best asset is its flexibility. You can often find many different ways to explain the same thing to its wide range of vocabulary. Like, for example, if you just want to say thanks, you can just say it in a different way. I appreciate all the efforts that you put in. I'm grateful to you. Also, it can be used around the world. English is also hugely important as an international language and plays an important part even in countries where the UK has historically had little influence. And English language, you can make yourself, with the basic English language, if you can make yourself understood in nearly every corner of the world. It's really flexible. In many countries, they speak in this language. It's the language, the most important thing. English is the language of the internet. Most of the content produced on the internet, 50% is in English. So knowing English will allow you access to an incredible amount of information which may not be otherwise available. It depending on you how much you want to speak in this language or how much you need to speak. How much do you want to progress in your life? It is very important. Well, if you know English, if you are good in communicating English, you can make your own contents, you can make videos, and when you go for any sort of interview, you would be more confident because you know the international language. In case the interviewer questions you something, you would not hesitate to answer that question in English if you know the language. You would need to know the language really well. It helps you to gain confidence, it motivates you from within, and also it helps you to become a good public speaker once you're aware of the language. So I would recommend everyone to please learn English. In today's world, it's become so easy with social media to just go ahead and get some free online trainings. So why don't you guys just go ahead, get some free online trainings on English and start speaking from today. I would just give you some basic information in case you need help. What you could do is you can probably pick up a nice book and start reading. You can probably start watching English movies or listening to English music. You could practice this at home. Start reading aloud. Start pronouncing it correctly. In case you're not sure of any pronunciation, kindly refer to Google Translate. And I would keep posting some of these videos often so that it helps you to improve your communication. It helps you to become self-confident. It helps you to develop yourself. It helps you in your public speaking and in many other ways. So all the best and stay tuned, stay connected. This is Chris. Take care. Bye bye.